Today, we are going to, first off, excuse my allergies. They hit again. So I took everything under the sun to not sneeze and sniffle this entire call. So hopefully that goes well. But so in this call, this is a bonus call. It wasn't originally scheduled. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go over KDeep's offer, right? So this is a bit off topic for what we've been talking about throughout the entire curriculum, right? This has mostly been focused on branding and content, but hopefully this will give you guys, I feel like this will be a good introduction to marketing and product, right? Creating a product or service, or in this case, like it could be a hybrid, like a cohort, and being able to market that, right? So today we're going to go over, it's a very like simple marketing framework, and hopefully we go over some nuances that will, if you've read marketing material before or gone through certain courses or have done like agency or freelance work or even read certain marketing books, there's a lot of things that could be in your head that make you feel like there's certain things that you can't do or that you have to stick to a specific way of doing things. And when it comes to when you're building an audience, it just becomes a lot easier to break the rules, right? You have more leeway to break the rules when you have an audience. So we have KDeep here. If you want to introduce yourself real quick and what you do. So it's all yours.
Yeah. Hello there. So basically, I mostly talk about the helping people live a better life in the terms of bringing energy and clarity into their days. They live with negative thoughts, boosting their drive for work. So anything related to how we ourselves can improve our life, our own life, that is what I cover. And the problem I was facing with my offer basically was that, and which we realized after I talked with Dan and the community, is that I had built a certain audience and I was trying to sell to a different audience, probably. And that's what I think we are going to try to fix today.
Yeah. So the one thing, I'll start sharing my screen. Screen share. Window. Yes. Yes. Brr. Okay. So this is your account. And right here, so this, to me, this screams like stuff that I like, right? I know we're very similar on the content that we like to consume, the language that like we kind of resonate most with, right? Like even the word mediocre, only a few like niche people, niche like sections of self-improvement use that in some cases, or superior, right? In terms of the way of the superior man. So here I'm already getting the vibes of like more philosophical, maybe more spiritual in some cases. You may label that as like emotionally intelligent, and even like a dip into like practical self-development, which I really like. So just going through here, we'll go over, so the main problem, the way this came into being, this entire call, for those that aren't aware, is K, I'm just going to call you K, or Deep. I like Deep better. Deep is in digital economics. And so in the Discord there, he was asking for, he's been working through like setting up this cohort for a long time. And I feel like you felt the need to switch to an audience that wasn't one that you have been targeting while growing your 7,000 followers. And so that disconnect and wanting to, and kind of reframing the language, right? This is what I want to focus on a lot here. And something I've recently like came to realize is that the language you speak with like really determines the people that you attract and the people that you're going to be able to sell to. And with that switching, like I saw you start to switch your lens to more of a online business lingo, where this is the start of the original landing page. And I'm not seeing the, like already from the top, for 9-to-5ers and online business owners who are feeling stuck, like I'm not seeing that language you've been using, or the one that people may know you for, or that you're associated with. right? And the connotations along with like based, realist, even this, where when you're targeting online business owners and they're really in the frame of like there's a certain vibe that comes along with that, right? And the people they follow. But here, it's more so this seems like a performance offer, like it's trying to be changed into something that you're not specifically. Like if we go through an entire content strategy and rebrand strategy, then I could see it working well, but I don't think you want to do that. And I have arguments as to why you should not do that when we go through the Notion page. But so the main thing here, let's just start and go through the landing page as a whole and kind of note the problems that I see with it. So first thing up here, I think this is good, but I think it belongs after the headline. I've had it up here before. I'm going with like personal feel here, where I really think a simple headline is the best way to go about it, which this is a simple headline, but simple headline and then a sub headline to bring it all around. And then after that, you have the call to action, but then within here somewhere, you can have the scarcity to let people know it starts on this date. Enrollment may close. You can have a certain amount of things there, like only 10 spots available. I think that works really well. And then you have the like upfront social proof, which is very good. So the structure already is looking good. I just think we need to move this down and condense it. Another thing here is that I like your yellow color, where I think that should be used in not only the call to actions and the buttons, but like in the highlights and other accent colors here. Because to me, when I see this, it feels kind of like a black and white lens on the phone. And you and I both know that's kind of like a hack to like not stimulate dopamine or not like catch attention, right? So it could be seen as this is grayed out and that it's already closed. Now it's not, and you don't say that explicitly, but it could be assumed just when you land on the landing page. So that could be one thing. I think you should go with the yellow or a different color only on the landing page though, because that's one thing I struggle with too, is like my brand colors are black and white, but I know that on a landing page, I'm going to have that complementary color that catches attention. And so here, this looks good, plain and simple. The clock is ticking. You're sparking that urgency, which is good. Nobody wants to be just enough. We'll come back to this, or at least you'll have more clarity on what this can be turned into when we go over the Notion page. So just general structure, you have it down well. You start with the problem. So for those unaware, when you start writing a landing page or even a newsletter or whatever it may be, you start with the lead, you start with the problem, right? And then you amplify that problem, you dig deep into it, and you're doing well here with that. But the main thing that I was noticing when first reading through this is you're kind of going back and forth between like your current language that you use on your profile and the online business language. So it seems like the audience is split when I think it'll be better to just pull it back into one. So general structure is good. One thing I would do is we could probably condense these into like 5 to 8 bullet points, just so it's not too long. That's always my problem, and I don't think it's a good thing. Like, I don't think the way I do it is optimal, right? And I'm just too lazy to change it at this point, but I think I need to learn to condense my own landing pages personally, and I think it'll help you out a lot here if we just stick to the point, hit the problem, and go through what we're going to go through. And so here, 99% of 9-to-5ers and online business owners have it backwards, right? So you're digging deeper, you're amplifying the problem here, but I honestly don't think this entire section is really necessary, right? Because these can be mentioned up front in the bullet points and be made like very aware of. And you could go straight into, I mean, yeah, these are good too. But it could be condensed. Like this, the lies section, this could honestly be the lead. And then you could have lie number 4 with bullet points. So instead of up here where you have like a little lead, right here, it would just be like the 4 lies you've been told about unfucking your life, right? That's one angle I think we can take when we go over this is the headline. I think speaking in your language, it would be fix your life in 21 days or unfuck your life in 21 days. And so here, the 4 lies you would place here, but you would use bullet points to explain them to amplify the problem more. So you would have lie 1 and then maybe 3 bullet points. And then lie 2, 3 bullet points. Lie 3, 3 bullet points. And then so on and so forth. So that way it's like more structured. It holds people's attention more. It does seem like there's so much text. And I feel like that alone will be able to condense. You can combine both sections so that you're hitting the problems. They're well structured. They make sense and they hit harder, right? And so, yeah, here you have the call to action. Good, right? I think this color should also be added to the top. Meet your instructor. Good. So you have the transformation. Easy peasy. And you have the client testimony or client case studies here, which is good, right? And then you go straight into the unique mechanism and offer introduction, what you'll learn in 21 days. I feel like this can be stronger, but it'll make more sense when we're up here talking about like the unique mechanism in and of itself, where I would just put something like introduction, the success compass, a path to superior living, right? But these are good. So 6 group calls, call recordings, Notion systems, community access. I would name the Notion system if you can. Or you could just put like the success compass on Notion. And then 4 systems. Phase 1, good. Phase 2, good. Phase 3, good. Phase 4, good. Yeah, those look good. Okay. Bonus, high income skill mastery. This is another thing where this alone makes me want to target the audience that we're going to talk about in here, right? So 9-to-5ers and online business owners, some will resonate with this, but I think this is a big bonus for a different audience.
Can I add a bit to that?
Yeah.
The bonus thing? Okay. So, I mean, this might help someone who is listening to the call, right? Earlier on, I didn't have this bonus at all, but I was on a call with another copywriter. And in the FAQ section, I had mentioned that if you're completely new to online business and all of that, then this isn't for you because you need to have some experience in 9-to-5 or online business. And he said, just remove that objection that people might have and put it as a bonus. Now, Since I have the eyebrow as for online business, that for that reason, I understand it doesn't go well. But like that thing which I really like, which is if there is a particular reason someone can't join, fix that reason with a bonus.
No, that's a really good point, right? Is where, especially in this case, where I want you to target a broader audience because I feel like it'll make you feel a lot better about it and it won't restrict the content that you write because people are doing it all the time, right? You look at Clark Kegley on YouTube and he has like Metamorphosis 2.0, which is identity shifting, right? And it's to me, you'll be told by people, or you can assume that would be more difficult to sell, right? But since all of his content is aligned and he's building an audience and he's nurturing and he's building that trust, unlike something like a Facebook ad where they're just trying to handle all objections quick and go straight into the sale, that it's a different ball game there where like you have the room to, as you said, provide the bonuses that handle the objections or close the gaps that people are thinking about as they go through this, right? So this is a very good thing where you're also tying in another eternal market and making it more tangible for them as to how they can fix your life, which is the angle I kind of want to take with this, that I think would work well. And so Handshake Promise, I think that's a cool way of putting it. We've got testimonials, which is solid. You got the call to action baked in. 10 reasons to not join. I like that. Makes work too effortless. It won't disappear. So right here, grammar. It won't make you disappear for 6 months or make you an overnight millionaire. You might reach your goals too damn fast. Your friends will hate it. Your girl will love it. It will cost you 40 Starbucks coffees. I'll pull you into taking action. This is good. I like it. It adds some humor too. To recall, cohort starts June 1st. Boom. Okay. Yeah. So here, the pricing is already good, man. Like, let's go. Okay. And then you have the question. So let's go straight into this because I want to handle this first. Where did I put something about pricing? Right. Yeah. Right up top. So right here, think of each launch as having a threshold of revenue you can make if you have an audience, right? So this is the main distinction here where we're all about building an audience, but 80% of the online business information and like marketing information you hear is for people that don't have an audience, and they need to optimize everything for the sale. And in many cases, skip the nurturing process where you've already nurtured people to the point of purchasing something from you. And so that's what I want you to see is like when you have an audience, no matter what offer it is or what price you have, it's the same level that you'll be able to hit, right? Because if you charge $1,500, then less people are going to buy. But if you charge $150, more people are going to buy. But at the same time, you're going to hit around the same number of sales for it in terms of revenue. And so that's my point here is I think either the 150 or 200, 300, like that's a good price for this because then that determines the delivery structure and how many people are going to be in it and how personal it is. Because if you're targeting something more broad, then you're going to have to go for a lower price, but then that begs that you have more of an audience in order to fuel that, right? And so for you, it seems like you only want 10-ish people in it, right? For the scarcity, maybe the first time around, it makes sense. And so for the target audience here, I really think we just go broad and like based on who you attract. Like I wouldn't even think about it that much really, where like you're so ingrained in the audience yourself that it's hard to identify who it actually is and like where they are. Because to me, I see like a Hamza type audience mixed with people that just like ancient philosophers or let's say like pithy, harsh truths like Aristotle would write, right? And so that alone is a target audience, right? We don't have to dig into like their age, their demographics, whatever it is, because there's a certain demographic that likes to purchase those kinds of products already. And you target them just by the tone you use and the problems that you like to solve, right? Which is helping people live a better life and what you talked about earlier. And so that alone is your target audience because people resonate with that voice, tone, and style of teaching. And the other thing is since we're going broad and we know that 80 to 90% of the market are beginners, like with almost anything, no matter how much self-help content they've consumed, like most people will still be open to buying this or at least learning from it, right? It's like, think of it this way where I've bought a self-help book. I love that self-help book. So I'm going to buy another one just so I can get a little bit more perspective on what's going on, right? It's more of like, it's less about I'm trying to fix this right now. I'm more trying to learn about the situation that I'm in and have something that I can try and focus my attention on to actually feel like I'm making progress in life and actually make progress in life. So that's what people are looking for. But yeah, everyone like has the problem of feeling lost, overwhelmed, and like they aren't fulfilling their potential, no matter where they are at, right? It doesn't matter if it's a 15-year-old, doesn't matter if it's a 30-year-old who wants to change careers. Everyone feels this way at some point in time, and they can tap into that feeling at any time, even if they don't feel like it right now, and they can prepare for the future. So I wouldn't worry too much about getting hyper specific on the target audience here. And yeah, you're targeting people that resonate with the way that you explain things. And so here, the big problem, or just the problems in general, bullet sprays, you have them down well in your, what is it? In like the 4 lies and your current bullet points, but I want it to be framed towards that broad Hamza audience, or something along the lines of fix your life in 30 days or unfuck your life in 30 days so you can stop feeling lost. Like these two right here, the reason I'm saying this should be your headline is because they already perform so well, right? Like I know personally, I've written a lot of content on feeling lost, and it always does well, right? And it's a big emotion. It's a big pain in people's lives that can be leveraged and that people spend a ton of money on to fix every single year. Whatever the self-improvement industry is valued at is mostly because people just feel lost and they need direction in life, right? That's a huge, like, fundamental human problem in people's lives. And it's recurring, right? It gets better with time and the more you practice, but it's always there. You always go through that period. And so fix your life in 30 days. Like, I just imagine that being a YouTube thumbnail of a viral video. Like it just works, right? And so taking that and actually creating a solution for it that isn't a shallow YouTube video that doesn't actually solve the problem, you're on the right track there, right? Because not only will it catch attention and actually generate interest, but your solution is fleshed out, it's there, and it'll have people want to buy. So back to the problems is, I'm just going to read these, but you don't have a clear plan that you can execute on every single morning that makes your goals inevitable. So here I know you kind of vibe with this. You may want to change this a bit, but the purpose behind this is like you're bringing it down to a very personal level, and like you're trying to make them see the gaps in their life where like you don't have a clear plan that you can execute on every single morning. People think about that and they're like, oh, you're right, I don't. That could be what is holding me back. And you don't know what you want to do with your career, family, or life in general. You're a slave to your phone, porn, and other distractions that prevent you from making progress, but are so hard to quit. You've attempted to achieve big goals in the past, but you can never stay consistent. Or even worse, you thought about achieving the big goals, but never even started. You got paralyzed. You have a business and can't bust through a certain level of income. And we can even add here, because the bonus would absolve this, is you don't want to work a 9 to 5 that you hate for the rest of your life, and you see the potential. You know that other people are monetizing high value skills all the time. Something like that, right? So we're hitting like big pains in people's lives that they can resonate with. So I would take these. They can be made. I'll send you this Notion page too, but you can take these and you can either add them to your lies or you can use them to reframe the lies. But I really want you to stick to this kind of language that really targets the like philosophical self-help niche. That's kind of what I am trying to say here. That's the target audience, is philosophical self-help. And then the clear solution. So as I said, with like simple headline, this will be at the top of the page, front and center, so it catches attention. And I know yours is 21 days, so 21 days, top, front, and center, right? And then subheadline under that, quit addictions, clarify your future, and make consistent action seamless with the Success Compass system. Yeah, We'll add that in
Can
there. So
can I add?
go ahead.
I have a question around that.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, you have written that as an example, quit addiction, all of that. That's not
Correct.
something I cover. The addiction part and all of that, I'm not have a lot of knowledge around that. But even in general, so when you're talking about clarify your future, so that's normally around setting goals and having those plans, right? And my own philosophy is completely opposite of that. So even my recent newsletter was like a case against setting goals, basically. Now, I can obviously teach all of that inside the cohort, but it is something which is quite like anti-intuitive, you know. So how do I
Right.
present that on the landing page itself in a way that doesn't push people away? So like I won't be helping them create a plan for the future. I'll be just helping them focus on one project at a time. So the
Yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah.
philosophy is very different from this.
Okay. I mean, in that case, then we need to leverage that a lot because now that's very good because you're going directly against what most people preach, right? You're painting the enemy then, which is what you need to do. Where in the big problem, that's what you need to list, where it's like you think you have to set goals and like target each objection you don't like about the traditional way of doing things, where it's like you've tried setting goals with no luck. And then when you excuse me, when you go into the unique mechanism and you start listing off the certain aspects of the offer, that's where you're going to make very clear, like setting goals doesn't work. This works instead, the way that we're going to do it. It's very anti-intuitive. So here, we could even put the I would say intuitive, but it could be like anti-goal setting method to fix your life in 21 days. So this is just, I know this isn't the entire philosophy and there's more to it than this, but this is a great way of catching attention and like hooking people in, where it's like anti-goal setting. Okay, like tell me more, right? And so here, of course, this needs to be switched as well. But all in all, does that make sense in terms of like painting it as the enemy and really leveraging that, where you're kind of attacking what current people are teaching and you're attributing it to why so many people don't get results? Like that can be a part of the big problem, is that I'm just going to like people don't get results with, or if most people don't get the results they want with traditional self-improvement advice. So does that make sense as a whole in terms of like that's how you're going to frame the entire argument?
Yeah, and that actually opens a lot of ideas in the mind right now, because a lot of my ideas are like this, which is, now what was I going to say?
Like even on here, in that second section, like you have the lies, right? So maybe that's this here. So keep this, but condense it into a few of these. But then here, again, we want to condense it a bit more because it's a bit long for just like going over the problem. And here, it just needs to be, you've been lied to by self-improvement gurus, right? And then here you go into they lied to you, but then this needs to be framed around goal setting, willpower,
even like even my ideas of like monk mode, which is different from people's, and I can now see like how I can frame all of this.
Yeah, it would be so much better framed that way. Like that alone is a big unlock, where that's the unique angle that will make it do so much better. And it's kind of how you start to solidify, like I'm sure you already are. I'm not on the timeline too much anymore, but like this should be the main like here, you're doing it. You're kind of attacking the normal way of doing things, but I would do that more. where it's like goal setting doesn't work, do this instead. Like list. You'll see a lot more progress. I mean, you have it right here. Your goals are slowing you down. But you know what I mean, right? And if you're already doing that consistently all the time, then just keep doing it. Because then when people see the landing page, they'll have all of that in mind and they'll be like, oh, he's been talking about this for a while. This is the solution that like I finally need to buy.
Yeah. Yeah, because I have been doing this in my newsletters for a long time, but I never thought of doing this on the landing page itself.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like that'll make it it'll be 10 times easier for you to write too, because you've already written so much about it. And then you can just look up your tweets. You can pull from your newsletters. Like if you have a best newsletter that either you really liked or your audience really liked, then you use that as the frame for everything, or at least the starting frame. Because that's the other thing is like with landing pages as a whole, like your entire job with this first part is to really just hook attention in and hint at what they're going to get, right? And so if you target the whole goal setting thing where goals aren't going to help you, or like as I put here, where is it? The anti-goal setting method to fix your life in 21 days so you can stop feeling lost. I feel like that'll be really powerful. And then change these two to something different. And then like when you go deeper, you don't have to explain everything all at once because it's going to be explained in your offer and people are going to be like, oh, like I get way more than just XYZ. And then that's even more persuasive. So the unique mechanism is the success compass, a path to superior living in my eyes, right? And then you already have the steps. So that's good. But we just need to frame them in the way that we're going to frame the rest of the landing page. So this is good. Bring energy and clarity into your work hours. Good. But work hours may not be the right thing, where it could be bring energy and clarity into your mornings, and then you can talk about like what people have to do, or what you make the argument that if they don't have dedicated time in the morning to build their future, then like you have to make that apparent to them as to like, this is a part of it. Like you're going to be structuring your mornings. That's part of the system, structuring your mornings to actually build the future.
Yeah, and again, I can use that whole, idea of being different from the normal narrative, because I'm not a morning guy. I'm an afternoon guy for work, and my morning is more about exercise and all of that. So I think again, I can incorporate that into my own.
Yeah, because like my thing where I love working in the morning, so it's good to hear. It's like good to hear the opposite of that, where I think that would really hit, because for a lot of people, like it's the same thing where I say like, oh, like for however many hours of focused work in the morning, and that's worked for me. But then people try that and they don't. I mean, clearly, like many people aren't getting anywhere with it, and so you introducing a new mechanism for doing that is that's your edge. That's what's going to make yours do well. And so here, overcoming negative thoughts, that's good.
Is this a part that I can put in the sub headline, overcoming negative thoughts and all of that? Or should that be a part of being able to work seamlessly?
No, it should be, it should be overcoming negative thoughts, but I personally like the frame of feeling lost, because you are the success compass, right? That like implies the opposite of like they feel lost. And so it could be.
Yeah, because this negative thoughts is basically the same, workshop I had in MMHQ, which is about the stressful thoughts and the negative thoughts of, will I be able to do this? Those kind of thoughts. So that's what I deal in that phase.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. gas, stressful. No, this is all good. Boost your drive for work. I would add in here somewhere where it's like, hate to break it to you, but you actually have to work in order for all of this to work. Like if you want to stop feeling lost, if you want to build a high income or learn a high income skill and whatever, you have to dedicate time to actually working towards it. But the problem is that like here we're just dancing between the pain and benefit, where it's like if you want these things, if you want this desired outcome, then you're going to have to do this. But so it's like all of these could follow an if then but framework, where it's like if you want to stop feeling lost, overcome negative thoughts, then you have to implement this system, right? The benefits. But most people go about it the wrong way. Oh, okay. So in that case, this is actually right? Where you're going over misconception. So it'd be but, or like misconception, what people are doing wrong. And then if you want these benefits, then then like phase 2 is going to help you overcome that, right? And so same thing here, we follow that because that's a bit more persuasive. Most people don't realize that they need to actually put in work to achieve their goals. If you want, or I don't know, you can, I'm sure you can come up with something for that, right? Breakthrough process. Good. Like all of this is good, man. It's good. The main thing that I'm seeing here is it needs to be more aligned with what we talked about, and especially calling these out and making that the entire frame of the landing page. And then second, I really feel like condensing, like just sticking to the main points. So having 5 to 6 to 7 maybe of these, very powerful, like the most powerful ones. And then here going over the lies, but again, keeping it fairly short, like 4 to 5 sentences for each one, just so it's like rapid fire bullet points, keeps people engaged, because there's a lot more, how do I put it, like contrast between the sections. So line number 2, and then 4 to 5 sentences, get the entire point across. Line number 3, same thing. Line number 4, same thing. And then boost my income. Of course, we'll have to change that where it's like a big benefit where
accelerate my success.
Yeah. Accelerate. Yeah. Do you use the word clarity at all? Or do you like the word clarity?
But I do.
Even focus. This is a good section. Very authentic. Good. So here I would just put introducing the Success Compass, a path to superior living. Or a path to superior living would be right here. Path to superior living, introducing the Success Compass, what you'll learn in 21 days. This can stay here. Good. These are good. Good. This can be condensed a bit more too, where it should just follow the misconception. If you want this, so if you want this, then here's what you're going to learn. So it's misconception, desired outcome, what you're going to learn, as condensed as you can make it for each one of these. And as you're doing this, what I think will really help is literally just going through the way that Hamza frames things. Like, he's so good at framing these things where he he's targeting just like the distractions that everyone are stuck in, right? Because everyone's stuck in the same thing, and if you can get specific on those, it's like easier. Why it's so hard to sit down and study/work, like that, like study and work are a big part of life, and so you being able to frame that in the way that you want to, in your unique method, then that's how you do it. I'm actually on a God kick recently, so I'm trying to, as you can see, biblical series down here. I'm trying to view different perspectives. But bad habits, low testosterone, like I would just condition your mind with the way that he frames things, because like mentally tougher, it's to me, it's like, I know Joey's in here, but the performance and the, I don't like the word self-help, like new self-improvement, like the emerging philosophical Chad self-improvement is what I'm getting at here, is where I think your framing will become the best, where it's like his whole balance between like Jeffrey and Adonis, where it's like, this is what mediocre people do, this is what Chads do. But Chads, I don't think, maybe you like that word, maybe you could use it, but I think it's a bit cheesy. And like, you can target a more sophisticated audience than Hamza. Like, to me, it seems like you're targeting one level higher of sophistication.
Yeah. I've got one question
Yeah.
regarding the unique mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I was just on a walk and I was having ideas about what I can do about this. And one idea that I had was the whole negative thoughts thing. I can sell separately as well. Like, there's 2R writer and there's digital economics, right? So it can be a whole.
I think it should be the anti-goal setting. Like, that alone hit me, where it's like, dude, I've even had content where I talk about like the law of reversed effort from like Alan Watts or like Lao Tzu, where they're like, no, you just like clear your mind, you have the awareness, you just follow through, like you kind of flow with your day. I don't think that's what you're saying, but at the same time, like the anti-goal setting, because the planners, the goal setting methods, all of that stuff, that sells really well if it's positioned. But you coming in and opposing that, I see that being like the idea that you're known for, right? Because very few people have done that. Like, I don't know of any off the top of my head. I know that some people are about like anti-time management or things like that, but they don't do it well. Like, they haven't made it the pillar of what they do. And I really feel like that alone would be a great standalone product.
Yep.
Do you think so?
Yeah. The only problem with that might be is that it's not too big of a solution. The solution part is not as much in that, because it actually, like, if goal setting is a 69-step process, then this is a 3-step process, or even a 2-step or 1-step process. Right. So, and keeping that aside, the main idea I was about to say is that, so I had that idea on a walk, but right now when we were just having this talk, the first idea I had was when you were talking about all of the things of feeling lost and not having the clarity. I'm not sure if negative thoughts fit well into it.
Right. Well, the way that I see it is that negative thoughts, like, over the way that you overcome them or you help people overcome them, is your unique mechanism. But the entire problem and solution is like the positioning is anti-goal setting, right? Where if people want to learn how to go about things without setting goals and doing it and fixing their life by their own means, the way you overcome negative thoughts is your way of doing that, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be labeled as overcome negative thoughts. That's just your way of delivering on the promise. Does that make sense?
A bit. The problem I'm not able to see right now is, so I am cool with framing it as anti-goal setting because that's like a massive positioning, right?
Right, right, right.
And the only problem is, so my solution. So let's start with the first thing, right, which is energy and clarity. That has to deal with a lot of what Joey does. So the sleep, the
Yeah.
exercise, the nutrition, and the focused hours. So how do you bring the focus into your work? So those four things, that is energy and clarity. Then there's the negative thoughts, simple. Boosting drive for work, I have my own methods, which again these methods aren't shared a lot, so it's not like just reward yourself or like simple things like that.
Yeah.
So it's different from that, and I have those things, but I'm not able to see how I fit all of that into anti-goal setting, because anti-goal setting, okay, shift the focus from goal setting to focusing on specific projects. Like my project right now is this cohort. That's like a perspective I will share inside it, but I'm not able to see how it encompasses everything.
Mm. Well, that's the way that I see it, where you don't even have to talk about it, right? That's just the framing. That's the marketing, where because that's the thing. If you're not if you're not helping them set goals, then it's anti-goal setting to get a very similar result.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where it's just positioning at
Yeah.
that point, like because you with your entire success compass, like I'm sure you know that this can be positioned a billion different ways to a billion different audiences. And so here, I think that this is just the positioning that we should use so that people like attempt or like use it as a method to fix their life and get the benefits that they want. Because that's the other thing is like everyone's in the self-help space is pushing towards the same or is trying to solve the same problems and help people reach the same desired future, but they aren't doing it your way, right? They aren't using your system. And so this is your way of positioning your system in the market so that you can get people to go through it and actually start seeing results in their life, because that's all that matters is the more people that use it, how simple or effective your system is, them getting results and them attributing it back to you.
Okay. So as I'm seeing it right now, so anti-goal setting is the main proposition or whatever. And then everything else that I have inside of it, the energy and clarity, negative thoughts, I'll have to frame it in a way as it's a part of the entire process of achieving your, not goals, of course not goals, but
Yes, it's
achieving success.
yes, it's
Yeah.
framed under the lens of fixing your life, or if you want to be more polarizing, unfucking your life. I think unfucking like would work well,
Yeah.
because that also does well in like YouTube titles. Dude, YouTube titles are such a hack. Where I personally think, where is it? The one that we just saw. Why it's so hard to
Why
sit
it's so
down and
hard.
study and work. Where that could be right here. Actually, like that's a hook in itself. Why it's so hard to sit down and work, right? That's the phase, and then you go into that gets the same point across as this, just worded in a more interesting way, and one that hits them, because it's like boost your drive for work. That's good. I'm not saying it's bad by any means. I'm saying it can be better by like tapping into the emotions that people feel when they're going to sit down and study and work. So it's like when it's boost your drive for work, or it's like fix feeling stop feeling like you can't sit down to study and work, something of that nature,
Yeah.
right? Where you're bringing in more of the negative, or that you're tapping into the negative emotion they experience when it comes time to actually change their life or fix their life or unfuck their life. And so you're viewing it under that lens of like, okay, how is this actually going to help? What problems is it solving along the way? And like, how are they going to feel afterwards?
Yeah. And then, like, just this gave me idea of like for the negative thoughts, it can be like having feeling certainty about your future instead of overcoming negative
Feeling
thoughts,
certain
because
about your future.
future,
Yeah.
because that's the main thing which I have personally achieved because of not getting consumed by those thoughts, because I'm always certain that okay, I will be able to crush it eventually at
Yeah.
least. So that can be maybe something better, but on those lines of being certain about.
Yeah. I think it could be like, so like, this is the way that I like to try to frame things, is like not only from YouTube stuff, but just things that I like to read where I hear something said a certain way or I look it up and then I'm like, oh, okay, it would be better said this way. So instead of overcome negative thoughts, it would be,
Why it's so hard to feel certain about the future.
yeah, or it's like, do you talk about purpose at all? Do you like purpose?
Um, my own definition of it, but again, which is that's again a whole different my idea of it, which again is going to be a part of it, but very differently, not the normal purpose of having a North Star or whatever.
Yeah. Feel certain about your future so you can stop being stuck in a cloud of negative thoughts. Where, yeah, that's kind of the benefit of it. Or even here, it could be like create a North Star so you can stop getting stuck in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like everything I teach is almost opposite of the normal advice, which is there isn't a focus on the purpose, there isn't a goal, and you
Yeah.
like there isn't a hustle culture. Like even my idea of monk mode is different from working 12 hours. Like I call that 12 hours of work as monkey mode, and monk mode as the 4 hours of work.
Nice. I'd say
So,
so. Like in that case, I'd make that very apparent from the start, where it's like hustle culture and self improvement advice.
um, I just had the idea, like somewhere in the landing page, in the part of some heading, I can talk about like the monkey mode, which is you're just feeling lost, you're taking random action, you are
Yeah, yeah,
working your
yeah,
ass off but getting nowhere. So like the monkey mode can be a part of it.
yeah. Oh, dude, that's perfect. Right up here. So you have the lies, which is good. Those are the problems. Here, this is how you identify. This is how you clarify your target audience. Is this part with the problem? So right here, are you like you could have up here something like dissing monk mode, maybe. But at the same time, you could say like, are you stuck in monkey mode? And
Yeah.
then here, stop going through the motions or something related to that. And then you describe monkey mode, where what you just said, like in each bullet point, and get specific with like what they're doing on a daily basis. So it's
Yeah.
like in the morning, are you waking up without certainty, whatever? At night, or is your automatic action to pull out your phone, open up incognito browser, and go to Pornhub? And then like onward and onward, like describe the exact steps they're going through on a daily basis that you would consider monkey mode. And then in the lies, that's like the problems that people are facing, like what the lies that the hustle culture industry, like I put right here, hustle culture and self-improvement advice is ruining your life. Again, that's another YouTube title that I know just does infinitely well. That can be used here as well, where it's like the mainstream, like the mainstream success advice is leading you to failure. So it's all good. And then you can create the argument there and go over the 4 lies. And I think from there, it kind of starts to write itself. But yeah, have you written a newsletter on Monkey Mode?
It will come out next week.
Oh, it's coming out next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because like right now I'm in the monk mode, like a bit of that, which is focused work and all of that. So that's why I'm sharing what I'm doing right now with my audience.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. So the framing, I think, works. Do you have any other questions? I think we can go into like details of writing, but I genuinely don't think that's as important as just having the big idea and the framing down. Yeah. How does this all sound to you? Do you have more clarity on it?
A lot. A lot, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. I mean, I can see everything wrong I was doing and everything right I can do just with this.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. If you want, I know how it is like with writing newsletters, but I would reset the start date towards another time, but then base like the main topics that you talk about, where it's like the mainstream self-improvement advice is ruining your life. That's a newsletter topic. Monkey Mode, that's the newsletter topic. And then one other newsletter pertaining to like anti-goal setting again, but from a new lens, since you recently wrote one pertaining to that, or overcoming negative thoughts. And then those 3 will lead up to launch, and all of your content will be based around that, because those perform. Like those are all big ideas that perform well. And so then it becomes like holistic, where not only is your landing page based around high performing topics, which allows your content to be based around that. Therefore, just because the offer is a high performing topic in and of itself with big ideas, like you're going to be getting more traffic to it simply because there's more traffic being generated from content. It's hitting harder. Like people are resonating with it a lot more. And people, when you talk about it enough for an extended period of time, they know that they need to eventually find a solution for that. Because I feel like that was a big disconnect from switching to more of like online business owner 9-to-5ers, is you're kind of resetting the levels of awareness by doing that, where you've built so many people up to a high level of awareness already. And those are the people that you need to target in your audience.
Yeah, and that's like a kind of newsletter that I'm focusing a lot on. Even in this tweets, you can see like I would rather be disappointed and all of that. And like even this week's newsletter is about a case against spirituality and philosophy. So I'm going.
Ooh. Yeah, I need. What am I doing? I need to subscribe. I'm gonna subscribe right now.
So I mean, in the newsletter itself, I go on like why I'm not against those things, but what a lot of people get wrong about those things and how to fix that, and that's what I deal a lot with. Right?
Yeah. No, I love it. Like I'm the same way.
This, if you can see the whole thing, which is why goals are slowing you down and all of that ideas.
Yeah.
So my main idea is around that.
I like being challenged on that stuff, so that's good. Cool, man. Well, yeah. Anything else you think?
No, I think I have a great idea to work on the next 60 days, probably.
Yeah. Allergies suck so much. Okay.
Someone asked me the Q&A which platform we use, and that is Card with components.ui, right? Or components.ui.com.
Yeah, so Card. So this is Card when you go to it. I think part of it's free. Wait. So you just go to choose a starting point. Oh yeah. So it can be free, but you definitely want to get the paid version just because this is what like we use for landing pages mainly, not websites per se. Uh, but then if you go to like, so this is, yeah, where I have like 2 Hour Writer, digital economics. This is where I built the sprints landing page. Like all of mine are the same, just with different colors. And so I just duplicate them each time I make one. But yeah, 7 Days to Genius, when I was actually selling the Twitter product. Yeah, I've done a lot in Card. But the thing with like Components UI is that you have to get the plus plan or like the highest plan, which still for Card is, am I even on it? Oh, I'm not. What am I doing? Sorry. I wasn't even showing my screen. But yeah, card.co, and then Components UI, which is this, and you have to have the plus version. There's me.
Still advertising on there.
This is what, dude, this is a while ago. This was like 3-4 years ago. But yep, Card and Components.ui is good. So yeah, that's good. Oh, there's a decent amount of questions. I'll answer a few questions just because I don't know, why not? You're free to stay if you want. But I'm going to answer a few. I do have to leave soon though. So from D, so I teach people how to make money with astrology. That's interesting. My question is, 1, should my tweets and threads be more broad in the beginning or should I stick to astrology only? What should be my content strategy considering I'm a beginner? Also, would you recommend buying RTs to grow initially? 2, is it okay if I engage with people who are from different niches or should I just focus on astrology accounts? Because the thing is most astrology accounts have very poor content and I don't resonate with that content at all. So first, should your tweets and threads be broad? I think so. I feel like astrology is very broad because rather than thinking of it as astrology, think of it as the problems that you are solving and the benefits you're helping people get in their lives, right? So with astrology, it could be like clarity. I don't know too much about astrology, but it could be like clarity, insight on their life, help with decision making and what they should make. And you're really just thinking about the problems that you help people with, and then you kind of introduce astrology as a way to do that, right? And of course, you can bring in content relating to astrology and teach people about that. So in the beginning, I think it should be broad, and you should stick to the topics that allow you to explain the problems that you enjoy solving in your life and others. Because astrology is like a sign towards that, right? That's what you enjoy doing, is you enjoy solving those problems in your life because of the feelings that it gives you. And then like the interest in astrology comes from that as a method of doing that. Would I recommend buying retweets to grow initially? I don't see why not. Like if you have the money, it's always iffy saying yes or no. Like if it doesn't hurt you and you're going all in on the brand thing, then yes, I think it's very wise to invest in the growth of your business, right? Especially I like to frame it as life's work. Like if this is my life's work, what better thing is there to invest my money in, right? So yes, if you feel like you should. And is it okay if I engage with people who are from different niches? Yes, because the thing there is you're introducing people to astrology. You're introducing people to what you like to talk about. Because if you just attract people that are interested in astrology, if they know anything about it, if they know everything about it and you sell a product on it, then are they really going to buy? Maybe some of them will, of course, but you want to be the person that educates people on what astrology is. So I would argue that you should engage with mostly accounts that are not astrology, because then you bring people into it, right? So it's like if I'm selling a business product or like how to write or how to brand, then I need to illustrate the importance of like why people should be doing that, where it's like you gain more free time in your day, you have the potential to make more money, you can just enjoy learning a creative skill. and so on and so forth towards that. So yes. Okay. So let's see. From Dominic, do you think it's necessary to offer a product? I'd rather build a brand and pride myself as someone that teaches for free, or would this make me and my brand less authoritative? I think it's necessary. Well, it depends on like you, right? Like I personally don't think that, like, I think that making money is a reflection of the value you provide to the market. I think there's too much. I think there's too little, right? I think that like it's fulfilling to like reap the rewards from the people you're helping and them wanting to pay you, right? That's the other thing, is a lot of people feel like the people paying them like they don't want to, when it's like they're paying you for a reason. It's because they want what you have to offer, right? And so like money is necessary in many cases, and a product is a good way to get across information that is genuinely helpful to people. Because you buy products all the time. You probably went somewhere and bought something today, right? It's a part of life. So you joining in on that, I think, is a very good thing. It would make your brand a little less authoritative, but that can be worked around. Wouldn't worry about it too much. But this is where it like gets me. I'd be careful. It can be dangerous to fall into like, I'd rather build a brand and pride myself as someone that teaches for free, right? Because then it's putting yourself in a box. Like if you don't want to create a product now, perfectly fine. Enjoy creating for free, but don't close yourself off to it, because the opportunity may come where you start to see the importance. And then if you're flexing that as a value where it's like, I only offer free information, like Hormozi, who can, because he's getting deals on the back end from his sheer distribution, he's selling something. That's why he changed the way he says. He doesn't say, I have nothing to sell you anymore, because he's working with businesses and he's making money from it. But at the same time, he's in the position where he can do that out of some form of passion, because he's built business in the past. And just because he doesn't make money through a personal brand doesn't mean that he didn't use the same exact methods before, right? So it's like, I feel like it'll eventually become necessary unless you have a very fulfilling line of work and you really just enjoy doing this as a hobby, which in many cases is difficult for me to believe, especially as you get deeper into it. So that's my thoughts. John, I'm not going to do a full site review because it can take like hours. Reading your question, view the content of the website. I get too nitpicky about that, man. Like if you have like, if you feel somewhat confident, I just launch it. Right. So I apologize for that, because we're still going over time here, but, from Matthew, the best way to diversify yourself is to not just post platitudes, since anyone can do that. I've also heard from Taylor Simmons that the best way to stand out is to tweet about a hard skill so people can actually learn something. How can you make a hard skill appealing enough to grow an audience? Video editing, film design. This, to me, does not seem like viral content, or almost too niche for anyone else to care about. Study YouTube videos, right? Because clearly, like, people teaching video editing are doing very well. A lot of it is dependent on like the search engine, but another way to think about it is you're introducing people to the importance of skill acquisition, where you're teaching a skill because it helps people benefit their lives, right? Again, think in terms of pain benefits. Think of the hard skill you want to teach as a vessel for getting specific benefits out of their life, where I could write a tweet on why you should learn video editing. You can freelance with it and quit your job. That's reason number one. You can create your own YouTube channel and build a following. That's reason number two. You can apply to jobs that can pay you more and that is more creative and you enjoy working. That's reason number three. And you see how I'm framing it to beginners there, where they start to see the importance of the skill and you start to nurture them in your audience. And then you eventually, and then when you drop a thread on like, here's how you edit videos, XYZ, in a broad sense, where it's like, this is how you would frame a thread on video editing per se, where it's like video editing will set you up to win, or video editing is a high income skill. That's the hook. YouTube, shorts, reels, all require you to learn it. Here are the 5 principles of video editing. Something like that, it could be made better. But you see how I'm framing it to illustrate the importance of it so people can become interested in it rather than like targeting people that already have some form of an interest in video editing. So that's how it becomes viral, is you're not only flexing like your knowledge around it, but you're genuinely helping people learn new things and do better things with their life. That's the base of it that does better than just platitudes. All right, so we'll do 2 more. We'll do the one from Omar and Micah. So building a personal brand around self-improvement, marriage, and fatherhood. Coaching sounds above my pay grade or just intimidating. I'm new to the online business space, but currently writing a newsletter, tweeting, and working with Notion to improve home systems and offer template as a first product. Is this a good way to go, or suck it up and start with some free calls? I mean, either way, like that's the thing, as long as you're doing something, you're fine. Like eventually it'll work. You're building an audience. You're doing well. That you don't have to do a coaching program, but if you want to do lower ticket stuff like a digital product, just know that you're going to have more of an audience to match the same amount of sales, right? So if you don't want to, and you're not like craving money right now, don't feel like you have to start a coaching offer. But at the same time, if you want to start doing free calls and you want to make more money up front, like quicker, then that would be the way to do it, is starting free calls, progressing to paid calls, creating an entire program, walking people through the program, charging higher prices for it as you get results. And then you have a system and results and testimonials ready to transfer into a regular product, right? So that's kind of my thing, is like build out the product, but then if you want to start making more money from the start, offer it as a coaching program rather than the digital product itself. And you walk people through it on a call-to-call basis. And then when the time comes, just turn it into a digital product and fuel it with your audience. All right. From Micah, when and how do you recommend expanding your personal brand presence across digital online real estate? What you recommend growing large in one place, Twitter, before expanding to Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, etc., or slowly using your content strategies to grow on multiple platforms? There's 2 things you need to focus on here. There's one, your mental bandwidth of how much you can do every day, and 2, growth priority, right? Because content can, what I mean here is like mental bandwidth in terms of repurposing content and priority of growth, because content and actually putting effort into growth are like the 2 pillars of growth itself, right? So if you can post all content to all platforms every single day, that's good, do it. But you need to focus your efforts very carefully on the platform that you choose to grow on, right? Because if you aren't paying for shares, you aren't like going about it with some like business mogul mindset, and you're doing it very methodically and slowly and like by your own doing, then you're going to have to put more effort into engaging, networking, and doing that on one specific platform, right? And then once that one starts to take over, so let's say you get to 50 to 100K followers on Twitter, then you can like start to decrease efforts there, because you know that your content is already spreading. Like you don't need to focus as much there. And so then you switch the growth efforts over to another platform and start building that one up by replying, networking, etc. But you're also growing faster because you can transfer your Twitter audience over to there. So it slowly gets so much easier to grow on different platforms just because you have the leverage, knowledge, and experience to do so over time. So there's no specific time. There's just those 2 metrics that you have to pay attention to. If I could give a hard number, I'd say get Twitter to 50K before going to other platforms. Okay. Okay. Last question. I know that one. I said that was the last question, but last question from Daniel. Cutting it there. I'm sorry for other people that I can't. Hey Dan, I just finished copy for my first landing page thanks to DE. In short, I am an expert poker player selling my poker coaching to advanced players. I have authority and experience in the field, worked with 100 plus people already from my YouTube and reputation. I'm having trouble on my call to action though. I see these options. 1, have people fill in a form and choose fitting candidates. 2, offer a free consultation call in my CTA. 3, just put on the 10-hour package pricing on the page. Questionnaire every time. So option 1, where that's lower friction because it's not like, oh, I have to get on a call and schedule time with him, or, oh, I have to pay this much money. Like there's less friction there. So, and you don't have to reach out to them if you don't want to. So have them fill out the questionnaire. Pretty much the call to action is, I need to learn more about your business, or I need to learn more about you and your expertise before I can decide if this is a fit. And then they fill it out, and then you read that. Be sure to have a input on there where you ask for their social media handle so you can DM them, and then DM them, and then you talk to them. And then you're like, that's where you have like a soft qualification process. But then after that, you send the Calendly if you want to do a sales call, or you can try closing in the DMs because you've already qualified them twice, technically, with the form and the questions that you're asking in the DMs. And by then, you should just know, right? Where when you DM them, you just ask them a question based on what they put in the form, where it's like, hey, you put here that you're struggling with this specific part. Can you tell me more about that? And then they do, and you go, okay, so like, how important is that for you to be solved, et cetera? Go through like the sales process pretty much, and then you can either schedule a call or just give a link to payment or an invoice. Okay, but that is it. I apologize, you guys. We had some good discussion, but I appreciate you guys showing up as well. This will be recorded. I mean, it is recorded. It'll be uploaded later today. Aside from that, brother K Deep, I appreciate you letting us do this. I hope it was valuable to you. But
yeah, man, I should be thanking you for this.
I got you, dude. No, yeah, I know it can work. Like we've talked about it before, and it will work. But yeah. I really feel like the alignment with like the content, product, brand, all of it will help you just focus so much more on like just talking about those concepts and being able to fuel the cohort because of that.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Nice. Joey, anything from you?
No, not anything more than I know. I got my Diet Coke caffeine-free here, so I'm ready to go for my my deep work today. It's very key. Nobody talks about this.
Yeah. No, I didn't work this morning, so I need to work. Following the K-Deep work in the afternoon today. So, yeah, I got it right. All right. Well, good chat, my friends. Recording will be uploaded. I love you all. Thanks for coming. Adios.